I'm Anil Kumar sharing with you a test question based on trigonometric functions. We'll sketch the graph of the function and then write its equation in an alternate form. The question here is, sketch the graph of y equals to 2 cos pi x plus 1. Determine another equation of this graph. So we are given the function y equals to 2 cos of pi x plus 1. Now, from the given parameters, we can say that the amplitude is 2, axis is at 1, right? What is the time period? Now, time period, we have got pi times x. So that means time period is 2 pi divided by pi. So the time period is 2, right? Now it's a cosine function without any phase shift. Now let's try to sketch this function on the side. So we'll just sketch one wave. Okay. So we have axis at 1. Let us say this is 1 for us. That is the axis. Amplitude of 2. So that is to say that from 1, it could go up by 2 units, right? So that is up by 2 units and then down by 2 units, right? So the maximum will be at 3, minimum at -1, correct? Right? So that is the kind of graph we are going to get, and it is a cosine function, so it will start with the maximum, correct? And this is the minimum. So we can just draw, these are my guidelines, okay? They are not part of the graph, but these are guidelines. Now to sketch the graph of this function, we can say that this is cosine, so it will go kind of like this and then up, right? So we could say it's kind of like this. Right? Similarly on this side. So that is how this cosine function is going to be. Right? So at 0, we are going to have a maximum value of 3. Right? It is going to cross the axis at quarter of the time period, and one time period, one cycle will be completed in how much time? 2, right? So this is 2 for you. And so this will be -2 for you, right? Half of the cycle will be completed in 1. So that is -1. So that is the approximate graph. This becomes -half and that becomes +half, correct? So that's your graph with axis at 1, right? And the maximum at 3, minimum at -1. Clear? So that becomes the graph of the function, which is 2 cos pi x plus 1. Perfect? Now that is the first part of this question. Second part of this question is, determine another equation of this graph. Now what could be the second equation of the graph? Well, let's write cosine function as a sine function, right? So when we look at a sine function, what is the characteristics which we are looking at? Kind of where it starts from the axis. So that is the part which defines the sine function. Do you see that starting here? So it starts at -half, right? Amplitude, time period, everything remains same. This is quarter of the cycle, right? So when we are saying time period is 2, what is t by 4? That is quarter of the cycle. Quarter of the cycle is 2 by 4, which is half, right? So sine function is translated quarter of the cycle to the left from the cosine, as you can see here. Perfect? And therefore, I could write this as y equals 2, amplitude remaining same as 2, sine of what? Pi, because the time period is same, x plus half. Since it has moved half unit to left. Do you see that part, right? Plus the axis of 1. So that becomes our alternate equation for the same graph. Do you get the idea, right? So that is how we could actually write a sine function from the given cosine function. Perfect. So I hope the concept is clear. Now, this half basically is time period divided by 4 in general, right? So in general, if you have cos theta, right, then you could say cos theta plus pi by 2, right? That will give you the value, correct? T by 4 in this case, quarter of the cycle, correct? That gives you the value. Perfect. So I hope that makes sense. Feel free to write your comment, share your views, and if you like and subscribe to my videos, that'd be great. Thanks for watching and all the best.